9/11 survivors sue New York City over long-sealed Ground Zero environmental studies. It's Thursday, September 12th, and this is your New York Daily News. Thursday's forecast calls for partly cloudy skies in New York City with a high near 81 and a low near 64. Before today's top story, a Brooklyn high school named after a 9/11 hero has expanded for the new school year, more than 2 decades after the terrorist attacks. Last week, Captain Vernon A. Richard High School for Fire and Life Safety officially absorbed the High School for Civil Rights, an existing program on the East New York campus, preparing about 200 more students for careers with the New York City Fire Department and other fields. The merger will nearly double the student body. Last year, the FDNY-themed high school enrolled 231 students, mostly boys of color from working-class families, according to local education department data. 3/4 of the teens were male. Alongside a focus on fire and life safety, the school will add 2 more career pathways in cybersecurity and law, its principal said. Students pursuing cybersecurity will work with the tech company Cisco. The district is seeking a partner for its law programs. Captain Vernon A. Richard was a firefighter killed on 9/11. The school, now in its 20th year, was renamed in his honor less than a decade ago. Find the latest on this story and more right now at nydailynews.com. After being repeatedly stonewalled for pivotal data on the toxins that hovered over lower Manhattan following the terror attacks, attorneys for 9/11 survivors are suing for the never-released studies and documents created more than 2 decades ago. But New York City continues to stall. The city was expected to respond to attorney Andrew Carboy and Matthew McCauley's Article 78 petition, asking a judge to order the city to hand over the documents on Monday, but city attorneys asked for a continuance until the end of October. That would push the request well past the 23rd anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. Why are the city's September 11th files locked away, hidden from public view, nearly 25 years later, Carboy asked. All New Yorkers deserve the answer to this principal question. The institutional resistance the congressional delegation and ordinary citizens encounter transcends any one mayor's administration, he said. We can only speculate as to the source of this chronic stonewalling. Several lead city agencies in the city's investigation of Ground Zero air quality have denied Freedom of Information Law (FOIL) requests for the information. The NYPD Office of Emergency Management and the Environmental Protection Department have already denied FOIL appeals for the info, forcing Carboy and McCauley to draft the Article 78 petition, which was filed in June. The DEP failed to establish, with any precision or evidence, that a diligent search for the requested materials was actually performed, Carboy wrote in his petition. Significantly, we cannot tell from the statement of DEP's FOIL appeals officer, Russell Pecunis, whether this assertion is based upon hearsay or whether he, in fact, actually performed the search. Both agencies claim they couldn't find the documents. One city official said uncovering the paperwork from these 9/11 studies posed a challenge because many documents at the time weren't digitized, requiring the agencies to dig into decades-old paper records. OEM, which worked at Ground Zero for months after the attacks, speculated that the studies they made were lost when 7 World Trade Center collapsed on September 11, 2001. By that logic, the documents were destroyed before they were written, the attorneys claim. That's an obvious impossibility, Carboy said. A FOIL directed to City Hall asking Mayor Adams to release the documents has also been pushed back until after November. The city said the delay is needed due to the high volume of FOIL requests the city has received on a gamut of topics. The Adams administration has made it clear they do not plan to release any documents until it determines if releasing the information will get the city sued. We are aware of requests to produce city documents on the aftermath of the attacks, which would require extensive legal review to identify privileged material and liability risk, and are exploring ways to determine the cost of such a review, a mayoral spokeswoman said in February. An email regarding the latest round of delays was not immediately returned. The attorneys filed the FOIL requests on behalf of 9/11 Health Watch and the families of first responders who died of 9/11 illnesses, including firefighter Robert Fitzgibbon and NYPD Detective Luis Alvarez. They asked for whatever data former Mayor Rudy Giuliani was aware of about toxic chemicals at Ground Zero in the months after the attacks. The FOIL request asked for documents, reports, assessments about the toxins, dust, and fumes that came from the destroyed World Trade Center, and other information about future health threats to 9/11 first responders and survivors. An estimated 400,000 people were exposed to ground zero toxins on 9/11 and the days that followed, including 91,000 first responders, 57,000 residents who lived south of Canal Street, and 15,000 students and administrators at lower Manhattan schools, according to city statistics. For more on this story and for the latest in New York City politics, visit nydailynews.com and follow us on social media at nydailynews. Thanks for listening. My name is Imran Sheikh.
Spoken Layer.